And hello, everyone. Welcome to Silver Sunday on this October. It's our first, it's October, what, 3rd? It's the first October the first week in October of 2021. And I cannot believe we're already in October. For those of you who are number oriented, that means we're in month 10 of 12. What's up, everybody?
How's it going?
All right. So I'm dragging a little bit. I got a secret to tell you. I did a convention this weekend, and I got back earlier, and I came in. I said I got to stream tonight, but I'm tired. I'm gonna lay down, and so I'm only about 30 minutes up from my nap. When BJ woke me up, I'm like, wait, what? Why are you waking me up? I'm still sleepy. And she said, you told me to wake you up because you have a stream. And I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, that's right. I do, don't I? Okay, I'm going to get up. And so I'm up. So welcome. I'll talk about the convention here in a minute, but let's get through some introductions. Curtis, tell everybody who you are.
Hello, I'm Curtis Fujita. I'm the creative director at Silverline. I'm also a martial arts instructor. I teach Kung Fu, and so I'm working on my project for Silverline. It's the Kung Fu comic by a Kung Fu master called Shadow Ghost. I'm writing and illustrating it. So that's me, and I'm also hosting the new show with my co-host Patrick Lugo. It's called The Comics Fu Show, where we talk about Kung Fu and comic books in no certain order, but both those things. So that's me.
Yeah, I love that title. Very cool.
Thanks.
Comics Fu. Roby, how you doing?
Hello.
Tell folks who you are. Hey, it looks like sunshine behind. Is that the window behind you?
That is sunlight.
Wow.
Believe it or not, it is still daytime.
Wow.
It's 5 o'clock.
It's dark over here.
Mm-hmm.
Pete's like, yeah, you think it's dark there.
Doesn't matter. The room stays the same most of the
time. Roby, tell everybody.
Anyway,
who
I'm
a
former Malibu comics colorist. And also, I'd say the current colorist for Cat and Mouse and the just recently kickstarted Silverline Team Up champion, Miss Fury.
That's right.
That's right.
And who knows what else I
just
going on.
Who knows what we can convince you to do. And Pete.
Hello.
Tell everybody who you are.
Hi, I'm Pete. I'm the penciler on that Silverline Team Up champion, Miss Fury. I'm penciling. I'm allowed to say now because we're telling people about the Christmas special.
Yes, right? We are.
And we can talk
I'm penciling
about
a story in the Christmas special. Okay. I don't know what I'm allowed to say. So I'm just going to say I'm doing a story in there.
You can say. You can say now. Yeah.
Well, I can say who I'm drawing.
Yes.
Oh, so okay. So I'm drawing the Cat and Mouse.
Yes.
At least I hope I am, because that's what I've been doing. Find out I've been penciling the wrong one. So I've done that, and I'll be finishing off the Trumps series. That's my next thing to do, I think, before finishing off the Silverline Team Up run.
You're practically finished with that issue anyway, aren't you?
Yeah.
And
finish it off.
And then you're practically finished with the issue 2 of
issue 2.
Yeah, issue 2 of the.
Yeah, well, I was on page 12, wasn't I? I was 12 through 20.
So halfway.
Yeah.
So halfway, yeah.
Just needs Inca Extraordinaire to finish him off.
Yeah.
Wherever he is.
We brag on him so much, and it's kind of funny. It's like, dude, you're falling just a little bit behind. He goes, I know. And now he's on vacation.
He's on holiday again now.
What the heck?
It's amazing.
What the heck? Why is he going on vacation?
What a life he's got.
Pete, I will say, you're looking quite dapper.
You mean my Thanos?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. You should have seen the looks I got from the nurses in the hospital last weekend when I rolled up in this bad boy.
You said, "Be nice to me, or I'll snap my fingers." Right?
They said, "Oh, my kids love comics." I was like, "Yeah, good." I got slippers too, but I wasn't wearing them.
So Pete, you did have a little bit of a health crisis last week. How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm all right now. I had a viral infection. The hospital said that hit me rather dramatically, and I used it to the full dramatic potential. Right, so I'll tell you this. I didn't tell you this. So about 5-6 a.m. last Monday morning, I was pretty much passed out on the bathroom floor, and I couldn't get up. I couldn't do it. I was ready for death, and I was not shouting because I couldn't shout, but I was shouting, help, for some help, because I needed to get to hospital, and I needed someone to do all that for me to get me there.
Right.
My missus somehow had slept through 6 hours of me being sick.
What?
Yeah, she didn't stir. I couldn't believe it, because I'd go and be sick, and I'd come back into the bedroom and I'd lie down, and nothing out there. But how is she sleeping through this? So that's why I had to then shout for help. I was like, I'm done. I'm finished. And she came in and said, "What are you doing? You're waking up the whole house." I said, "I'm dying.
Okay.
I'm dying. Get off the floor. Get off the floor. What are you doing?"
Off the floor.
Yeah. So I had, and then I think she realised, okay, perhaps he's not very well. So she had to sit me in hospital. Took a day off work. What are you doing? You're waking up the whole house. Yes, I know.
Get off the floor. What are you doing down there?
That's exactly when it should be done.
I want it. I need some attention. It's a cry for help. Yeah. So it wasn't. But then, come Wednesday, I was back at the drawing board. I was feeling a bit peakier. Yeah.
Good to hear. And that's when you need to go back to and tell the missus, right? Hey, listen, sweetheart. In the future, when I'm lying on the bathroom floor, and yelling, I need some help. I'm not just trying to wake the house up.
Get off the floor. Get off the floor.
I hate to bring it up. Isn't she in healthcare? Isn't that her profession?
Yes.
Wait, is she really?
Yes.
That's not helpful.
Get off the floor.
So she see people that are dying worse than you, so she's like, "You're just being dramatic."
Yeah.
Laying around like
I'm
that,
glad
looking all
Curtis
ill.
said that, because that was going to be my question, and then it doesn't sound like this is the case. It sounds like you felt deathly, but aren't creative people sometimes a little dramatic?
I used its full dramatic potential. I'm not going to lie. I'm never ill. I never need any help or anything. But yeah, when I was like, right, I'm gonna get this. We're going to hospital. I'm gonna get some attention and help. Someone's actually gonna care. Yeah. I made for the first few hours. I'm sure I made the hospital nurse's life quite difficult, because I didn't want to sit up. She was like, "Can you sit up?" I said, "No, I can't. I really can't. I want to lie down." I kept saying that I want to lie down. So we can't even got bed for you at the moment. I want to lie. And I'm gonna lie on the floor. I've been there. I'm gonna go back to the floor.
I was quite comfortable
they
on the floor.
They won't see you if you're lying on the floor. They won't see you if you're lying on the floor. I don't feel very well.
You're like, well, you'll see me when you trip over me on the floor.
Yeah, so I played it up, and I got all the attention I needed. It really wasn't very well. What are you doing? Get off the floor.
That's great. Get off the floor. You're waking up the household.
Wake up the whole house. I know.
That was my intent.
I think that's what I said. I think I know. That's the point.
Somebody should hear me.
What are you doing? Yeah.
Well, we're glad you're feeling better.
Thank you. Yes.
I hate when you kind of get sick like that, and then for the next day your stomach is sore, like you've been doing sit-ups, and you're like,
my whole body was in just screaming in pain. It was so I couldn't I was tired, and also I wasn't hungry, but obviously had nothing in my system.
Mm,
So I probably was hungry. I just didn't want to eat anything.
yeah.
Mm.
Well,
Oh well.
yeah.
Back to it.
So, yeah. So, let's see. How do I get this back up there? Okay, here we go. So yeah, so the cat is out of the bag a little bit. We kind of had to try to muffle Tommy as much as we possibly could, but I think he
quick
wanted
second.
to talk about it every single time. And I know I heard Tuesday Gang mention it. So yeah, we'll go ahead and make the official, I guess, the announcement official today, and we are going to do us a Christmas special. And just what's today? Today's Sunday, right? So just on Friday, I think, did I get this sweet looking logo here finished from the very talented Mike Belcher. Where's my Zoom again?
Hello.
Well, let's see. Maybe it helps if I. You know what? I never can figure this out. Once I get so far, why won't it let me zoom this up now? Well, okay, you don't need to zoom it up. There's the cover. And of course, this is Stephen Butler Pencils, an homage cover. Stephen obviously is a longtime good friend to Silverline. Inked by Thomas Florimonte with colors, with colors by the very talented Roberta Conroy. So
That's great.
Yeah, very, very excited about this one. For those of you who are longtime comic fans, you'll probably recognize this as the Marvel Treasury Edition. I've got the image somewhere on my computer, but I'm not going to go searching for it now. I'll try to have that the next time. Let's see here. So here's some artwork. This is the first time some of this artwork is being shown.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah. This is I'm gonna butcher his name. His name is Jim Diaglu.
I was gonna say Jim's not a hard name to say.
Would you have said Jim if that's what you saw right there? CEM.
Wait.
Oh, really? That's Jim. That's pronounced Jim.
Jim.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course. It says of course. Yeah. So very talented guy from Turkey. He is the guy who's doing the Demon Story, which is written by Dante Berry, our very own Silverline intern.
Nice.
Yep.
Very
It's just
cool.
I'm just gonna show little pages here. This is a page by Quentin Bedwell, and it's from the story Night Rise, written by Mackenzie Wortman. So the cool thing about this Christmas special, y'all, is you're not only going to get stories from characters that you know and love, like Demon and Cat and Mouse and Divinity, which will be in there, but you're going to get little snippets, little previews of stories to come. So this is a Night Rise that is going to be by Mackenzie and Quentin. And why? Yeah, let me try to. I don't want to replace. Get out of here. I want to zoom. What's wrong with my zoom? Why did they used to have a little zoom thing here on Acrobat? Anybody know what's the hotkey for this?
I don't, but isn't it right next to the print icon up there?
I don't want to print it.
Oh no, to the right of that, isn't that a zoom magnifying glass?
Use a view menu. Then.
No, it's a find.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. So.
Well, everybody, if you move really close to the screen.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to scroll back just a little bit. Obviously, I wanted to show we got a reindeer here, right? Here's a really cool image. It's a Christmas special. So so this is from Night Rise, and this is Del Barris artwork and Jeremy Kahn colors over John Crowther. It's a Rochelle story. You've probably heard John Crowther mention that he is bringing Rochelle to Silverline, so we are excited about that. Rochelle, the Teenage Cockroach. And this is, of course, Teen Beetle, done by, are you ready for this, Curtis and Roby?
Mhm.
Henry Martinez.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very
Oh,
cool.
there's me a zoom right there. Why did that not come up earlier?
That looks great.
Because you were asking.
That's right. Yeah. So Teen Beetle, as you can see, there's a Santa Claus right there as well. So this is Teen Beetle with artwork from Henry Martinez, who, for those of you who are familiar with the Ultraverse stuff, you know his name. Let's see here. Then we've got, if you recognize this artwork, this guy's name right here, Dean Zachary.
Wow.
Oh yes, of course.
Going to be doing a Silverblade. This is one of the pages from the Silverblade story.
That's what I thought it was coloring at first when you first asked about it. I was like, oh, that's different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Silverstorm. I was like, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Silverstorm.
Well, and then speaking of Silverstorm, Jackson Rennick, we got him to, who's got a long history with Silverline, done a handful of projects with us. Jackson has got 2 stories. I can't remember if I got artwork from the other story in here. I think I do, but this is from the Silverstorm story, so you guys will recognize Castle and Natasha, or otherwise known as Silver Dollar and Tempest. So, yep. So Jackson has a story in there.
Excellent.
And this is a story I'm excited about as well. There it is. I guess I got to put the cursor over it. This is artwork by, and I hope I say his name correctly, Richard June, and it's a story by Ron Fortier.
Nice.
Those of you who might know Ron Fortier from the Green Hornet, Green Hornet fame.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'm very excited. This is a story called Satin's Ways, which will be it is a new Silverline Comics in the works. It's still down the road a bit, but very excited about this. Fantastic looking artwork here for Satin's Ways. So
that looks great.
And then I think this is nope, not quite the last page I have. And then this is a page by Thomas Hedgelin, inked by, well, there's 2 inkers on the pages. Rebecca Winslow inked this particular page, and of course Mickey Clausen inked the other pages. But this is Trump's Christmas story, and it's written by. Yep, it's going to be, or it is written by Cassisi Harris.
Oh, great, good, excellent.
So, I'm excited to have a Cassisi story in here, and it's good. I think y'all are really going to like that. And then here we go. Here's here's another Jackson Rennick page, and this is from White Devil, which is written by R.A. Jones, and these colors are by Jeremy Kahn. So this is just a little snippet of what we've got coming up, and I am incredibly excited about it because it is, Silverline.
How many stories are there in it?
Well, that's a good question, Pete. So.
Okay.
So what we're doing is we're telling folks right now there are 15 stories in it, but we have a possibility for more, right? So hopefully we'll get some more stories as we get them finished. Look at that. While I was showing this stuff, we've got some comments here. Stephen Brown says, "Hey," or "Hi, I like the new intro." Thank you, Stephen. I appreciate that. I'm pretty excited about it. It was I kind of fussed at my daughter a little bit with the intention. The old intro song was written and performed by my daughter, and I kept telling her I thought she was going to write more new stuff, and I'm like, well, I was just going to kind of rotate her songs, as she did a new one. I was just going to put the next new one up, but it took a while. So I told her the other day, I said, yeah, I've been using your song for a year now, and so I gotta get something different. She says, that's okay, Daddy. So Bobby Westkovich says, hello, big dummy. What's up, Screw Loose? Glad to see you here as always. Jackson, what's up, Jackson? It says try the mag glass on the right side, and so I did try that, and that didn't work. That was also the Find Me thing, but I found it. And then Jackson says that Trump's page looked incredible. Yeah, we're very very excited. We're very fortunate that Thomas Hedgeland has done some stuff for us, and I think, don't hold me to this now, but we are really close to finding something a little something new for him to work on. So if John Medic is listening to me, he knows that he needs to get on the ball. So yeah, Hedgeland, super talented guy. Does some good looking stuff, so we're excited about that. So yeah, you guys, let me. Oh, you know what? I don't have. Do I have the links? I don't think I have the links available for those. Which silly me, I should have had. I'll try to dig those up at some point in time. But the links to both of those are available to follow. You can follow both of them. We're going to do it. Like we did the last one, we're going to have an Indiegogo page, and we're going to have a Kickstarter page. Now, the last time, the big difference was we had lots of art on Kickstarter because I'm familiar with Kickstarter, and I know how to do that. I know how to set the page up. And Indiegogo, I'm kind of like, I don't really know what's going on here. Well, I'm still a little timid with Indiegogo. But I think this one's going to be a little simpler because we're just going to have the collected volume, and then we'll have the collected volume. So there's not going to be a whole lot of, you can't get the issues here, issues 3, like with Kalis. It was, you can get issues 3 and 4, or you can get 1, 2, 3, 4, or you can get the trade, or you can get the trade and the issues. Where there's no issues with this one, it's just the collected volume. So we're hoping that some folks will jump over because we need to make some inroads with the comic book folks on Indiegogo, and they don't know who we are. And there's a lot of folks on Indiegogo that like comics, and we feel pretty sure that they'll like our comics, but they just don't know who we are. So we've got to kind of make some inroads. So we're hoping that we can do that with this Christmas special as well. But I am looking forward to it. Curtis, tell us about that.
Oh, this right here.
Yes,
As you've heard on our Zazzle store, we have these amazing Silverline mugs. This is part of the fall collection of Silverline products started, and you'll notice we have this midnight blue is what it's called, the specific color on the inside, adorned as well on the handle. Remember, that's Zazzle.com, ZAZZLE.com.
Thank you, Curtis. And Roberta, do you have a matching
one
one there?
a little bit like that. However, mine has a black handle because I like black.
Yeah.
That is.
And was
very
that
special.
also available on Zazzle?
It was also available on Zazzle.
Very cool.
Mhm.
And what was it, Curtis? You said everything tastes better in a Silverline mug?
It does. It does. Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Oh, very cool. All right, so I'm gonna give a little quick con report. I went to PalmCon this weekend. The first time I've ever been to a PalmCon. It was the 10th anniversary edition. And apparently I think they missed the last 2 years. So it's not the 10th one, but it's kind of 10 years. They missed the last 2 years, I guess, because of COVID. And so I wasn't there 10 years ago. This is my first one. And I tell you what, it was a fun show. It was a little show. But the folks there seem to be super interested in comic books. Met a Kickstarter backer. He was standing there. I was talking to him about the comics, and he was looking at him, and he goes, "You know what? I think I backed one of your Kickstarters." And I'm like, "Oh, which one?" And he's like,
I don't know.
Let me flip through some of the comics. I can't, because I think it might be this one." And he was pointing to Switchblade, and I'm like, "Okay, well," and then he kind of flipped through some of the comics, and he said, "This is what it was. It was Switchblade." And I was, well, the on the flip book of it was Teen Beetle. He goes, "That's the one. That's the one I did." so met a Kickstarter backer, and a handful of folks who were unfamiliar with the Silverline. It was in South Florida, so it was a place that I've never been before. So I was able to, kind of introduce a Silverline to a new community. So hopefully we were able to pick up some new readers, new fans. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I will tell you what, I won't use his name because he hadn't given me permission, but I already got a message. Let me read the message to you. It says, good evening. I just wanted to let you know that I read the first issue of Cat and Mouse. It was a great read and makes you want to read more. I think it is a good story with a powerful message that needs to be told. Have a productive week.
All right.
And then he signs off. So, so he picked the first issue up at the convention and went home and read it, and has already dropped us a note about that. So I was very excited to see that. You know, so many times, you know, you talk to someone at a convention and you're like, hey, you know, now you artists, you're just hanging on your wall, right? But for the writers, we're like, hey, once you read it, drop me a line, let us know what you think, right? And so you almost never hear from them, right? So it is nice to hear back from someone who's actually read the comic. Right. Martin Piero, you guys probably recognize that name. Martin Piero is a guy who put it on. Cosmic Times, I guess I don't know if Cosmic Times was officially the kind of the sponsor behind it or not. I don't know if he wants to keep those two things separate. But Martin did a great job. His whole family turned out to help him. His daughter would come around probably once on the hour or something. I don't know if it was quite that regular, but she would come around very frequently. Had a box of snacks under her arm, and she would say, "Do you want this snack?"
That's cool.
Yeah, and then the next time she came around, it was a different snack. Would you like this snack? You know, and so she came around real regular. Brought us drinks, brought us snacks, and they kept basically they took good care of us. So so that was neat. And we got the official invite back to Daytona Beach Comic Con. So I was able to talk to Tom, and we got the official invite back to Daytona Beach for next year. So I am excited about that. We'll start making plans. Actually had breakfast with Tom this morning. You know, and doggone it, I should have taken a picture of it. But I noticed because he arrived before me and he was sitting we went to this pancake place. Oh shoot, what was the name of it? He told me it was the best pancakes ever anywhere.
Wow.
And yeah, it is. I'm trying to remember what the name of it was. Hold on, I'll tell you what the name of it was here. It's called the Original Pancake House. So anyway, when I got there, he was waiting, but as I walked up to the table, he was sitting there doing this, right? And I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm taking a picture. Roland Mann is coming to my table." But I got to pick Tom's because I've known Tom since I've been here. But I didn't know a lot of his past comic stuff. Dude's been doing comic shows for a long time. In fact, kind of the way he got into it, I'm not telling anything real private, but he's a son of a military family, and so they traveled around a lot. In fact, Pete, he said they did. He was in London 3 times when his dad was stationed over there. But he said that he hated going there because the military families could only take so much. And so every time we went to London, I had to get rid of all my comics.
Oh.
So yeah, he goes, I really did not like going there because, you know, here we go. Oh, I got to get it because they could only take so much weight, right? And so he said once he graduated, he had 6 long boxes, and he went to this convention somewhere up in the Northeast. I forget, Massachusetts somewhere. And he said he went there with the intent to sell his comics and just get out of it. I'm just going to be done with it. He said, I made $1,500 and came back with 15 long boxes. He said, and I've been doing that ever since. So yeah, that was and he had all kinds of stories about SPX. He did small press. For those who don't know, I don't know that this still goes on, but this is one that I really, really wanted to do in the late 90s. It's called the Small Press Expo, which was up in the Baltimore, Maryland area. and it was just all about small press. You would not find Marvel and DC there. It was just all independent comics, and people like Dave Sim was the guest of honor. Bone. Jeff Smith. Yep. Jeff Smith was those were the folks that they had there as kind of the guest of honor. The Turtles, Eastman and Laird, excuse me, were there as kind of premier independent stuff. So I never, it was one of those that I kept saying, I want to go, but I was never able to make it happen. So it's unfortunate. Before I get too far, Roby, can you share?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, yeah.
I can share. One of my, since we're talking the Christmas special, would you mind if I put one up?
No, absolutely, I would not mind. It would be fantastic. I think we would all love to see that. We'll just pop it up, and I'll throw it up when you get linked in. So,
sure.
So
would you like to see me start one? Because there's one we just got.
Yes, that would be cool.
I could do that.
Yes.
Okay.
So I will confess, I forgot what we were going to talk about until right before we went live. I think I mentioned I was napping, and I'm like, what are we going to talk about today? So I'm sitting there racking my brain. What can we talk about? And I've got some ideas what we need to do moving forward, but that'll be moving forward. But today's topic is favorite holidays and why.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know what is my favorite.
And I think we could talk about as well holidays maybe as reflected in comic books too. Not just our favorite holidays, but I mean we'll cover that. But then how are they reflected, if at all, in comics? I know that I've never ever seen that. I can't ever remember seeing Labor Day being in a comic.
All the superheroes have the day off,
Right. Obviously, you always see Christmas. That's a common one. I know Marvel and DC both have done Christmas stories, and I was a fan of the Marvel Christmas stories.
I think it's sort of standard now. You sort of expect the big public or most publishers to do a Christmas special.
Yeah.
Well, it's Christmas. Where's the Christmas special?
Right. Yeah. I don't does anybody know? Do they do those anymore?
I think. Well, I think for certain books, maybe they do. I always seem to remember there being a Spider-Man Christmas special, or maybe not a special. Maybe it's just that issue. It's Christmas in the issue. I don't know.
Yeah.
Perhaps not specials anymore. No. I've not seen any solicitations for a Christmas special.
No, and the part of the problem with that, when you think about it is, and a lot of people don't realize that if you're going to do a Christmas story and hit comic shops for Christmas, you kind of got to know what that's going to be back in June,
Yeah.
Because you got to get your story, and then and your script, and then your penciler has to pencil it, then your inker's got to ink it, then the color it, and then letter it, and then get it printed, and then shipped in time to make comic shops in December. So you gotta kind of know that you're going to do that back June, July.
Yeah.
It's
not. They can plan these things. They plan their storylines years in advance. So they can do it. It's just whether it's going to make enough money for them. Yeah.
They can't really decide. Oh, you know what? It's October. Let's do a Christmas thing. Well, no, they can't do that unless, of course, they're thinking about Christmas the following year.
Yes, exactly.
But I always love seeing. Well, even like the homage, the cover that ours is an homage to. I always love seeing the my favorite Marvel hero is Spider-Man. I always love seeing them, in a Santa hat and Christmas shopping and stuff like that. Because we did that.
Yeah. I always remember the two that stands out to me is I always remember there was an issue of Daredevil where and it was disturbing, but it was like it was like I think it was the Born Again part where Matt Murdock had fallen from grace, and the cover was some guy in a Santa Claus outfit, some criminal, pulling a switchblade out on Daredevil, and I just always remembered that. That always stuck in my mind. And they used to always have like a Christmas special for the subscriptions, and they would always have I think it was a John Romita Sr. drawing of the Green Goblin carrying Peter Parker away, and he was wrapped up in like a Christmas wreath or something like that. I always remember those. Those are the two images for me that always stand out. Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to see if I could.
All right, am I sharing or is it not? Working?
Yes, you are. Here we go.
Okay, let me see. So we got.
Oh,
It's a demon pig.
yeah.
It's starting. Just started it.
I recognize that fellow there in the green hat.
Mhm.
Let me take all the color out so you can see it. Really nice,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yes, it is. Very, very cool. Yeah, Jim has done a really nice job with the demon story. So excited, and he's actually working on a. So this was kind of a spur of the moment kind of thing, because he dropped me a line and said, "Hey," and I've talked to him for kind of on and off for I don't know 5 or 6 years. And he dropped me a line and he said, "Hey, love to do a project with you guys." So we swapped some messages, and I'm like, "Okay, cool." And we got one in the works, and I'm not going to announce it yet, but we got one in the works. And I said, "Well, while we're prepping the some of the characters in the script, I got a 6-pager. You want to draw it?" And he's like, "Sure." So that's how that ended up. So now I will say that he will be working with Tim TK. So
cool.
so I'm pretty excited. They Tim's got a dandy story that he's told, and I think Jim's going to do a really nice job with that. Curtis, I kind of tried to look for that cover, but I didn't find it. Is it the one with Santa's holding the knife?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's like Matt Murdock's POV, you know. But
yeah.
what,
Matt Murdock's POV or Santa's POV?
Oh, I think it was Matt Murdock's POV. Like he's staring down, and there's this guy dressed as Santa Claus holding the switchblade out. I remember it.
So hold on, let me see if this is what you might actually remember instead.
It'll be interesting to see if you remember it correctly.
Isn't that funny how you think? Oh,
oh my gosh, that is the cover, and man, I totally. But it was the opposite. That is disturbing. Wow,
that is disturbing.
Wow, my goodness, is that crazy? Well,
it is crazy.
At least it was Daredevil. It wasn't, Archie Comics for some reason. But that's such a great cover. Wow.
Yeah. So it's funny because when you were saying it, I'm like, I'm not seeing a Santa on the cover except for this. This might be.
That was it.
Might be it.
My mind completely flipped it. That is really.
But that's isn't that kind of interesting how you remember stuff one way?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I just and then when you see it, it's like, what? That's exactly it, but that's not how I remember it.
Yeah, I have two. I don't know if I could call them friends, but two acquaintances that I've known in the past. I'm no longer in contact with that are quite delusional, and both of them told me the stories I told them about my life. And they replaced themselves as me in the story and told me the story like it happened to them. It was the weirdest thing.
They forgot their own lie source.
Yeah. It's like
that's funny.
Yeah, they'll say stuff like, when I was a young Eurasian boy, it's like, dude, you're Jamaican. Like that's my story. I don't get how you got that. Yeah, people are weird.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So, favorite holidays?
Halloween.
Oh yeah, Americans love Halloween. You love Halloween, don't you? You're mental for it.
Yeah.
So, did you say we're mental for it?
Mental for it, huh?
Yeah, you can mental for Halloween, don't you? You just start all over it. It's like the biggest thing in the world for you. And I was like,
it is wonderful.
So do you guys not do Halloween over on?
I mean, we do Halloween, but you guys, you got a problem.
Yeah.
We love our
decorating and creative outlets.
I mean, when I was out there, I just wow, I couldn't believe just the effort some people go to for one night.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then you go trick or treating. I remember that. I remember that. What we went to someone's house for a Halloween party.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get dressed up. I wasn't going to get dressed up, but the door was just the doorbell was just ringing non-stop with these kids begging for sweets.
Darn kids.
So, I mean, wow. And there was like, as we drove up to the house, there were just like, it was just a mass of them, just wave after wave, just walking up the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
You guys go too far.
Pretty awesome.
So, yeah, we do Halloween, just not like you guys. No.
Is it the trick or treating though? It's just not as incessant, or is that even part of it? The equation, the
I
trick or
tell you
treating.
what, I don't want anyone knocking on my door. I think it's a very British thing. Don't knock at the door. Don't want you knocking at the door. I don't know who you are. Why are you ringing the doorbell? You'll get the very young kids might come out begging, but
Big.
I like
no.
how what we call festivities, you call begging, right? It's you know it's a holiday welfare program, Peter. Okay?
Yeah, welfare program. I know the American welfare program.
We
Yeah.
get rid of capitalism for one night only, and it's straight socialism, door to door. It's an experiment once a year.
Yeah, it's you go crazy for it.
Mhm.
We obviously everyone does Halloween because anyone that's enthralled to America does Halloween, but yeah.
We've got
Good luck with that.
We've
Don't
got
get it, huh?
our mall here. They sectioned off an entire because we're kind of still we're not really kind of COVID lockdown, but we're like COVID precautious. We don't. Florida doesn't require masks in most places and that kind of thing, but there's still precautions, and so the local mall has cordoned off this whole section of the parking lot, and they have created I think it's called Screams on Wheels or something like that. And they have fenced in this place where you drive your car through, right? And of course, they're going to scare you and skeletons are going to drop down at you and stuff, I'm sure. But they've got this we drove by it today, and they've got this whole thing cordoned off so that you can literally just drive your car through and get scared. It's the drive-through haunted house is essentially what it is.
That's cool.
Yeah, we got that, I guess.
Really, a drive-through?
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, that's what they did with a lot of things because Halloween last year was so compromised.
Yeah.
I was at a Halloween party once, and it was animation, comic book animation, video game people. So everybody was dressed up, and there was one guy dressed as Captain Kirk, and my friend thought the guy's costume was awesome, and he went over. And he's like, "Your Kirk costume's awesome." He's like, "You even got the paunch," and he hit him on the stomach because he thought it was padding. But it wasn't. It wasn't padding. He was really overweight. It was just uncomfortable silence.
Punching a random man. Yeah.
Are you sure he really thought it was?
Yeah. Watch me punch this guy and get away with it.
Right? Yeah. That's funny. Haunted houses are a big deal. I don't know a lot of people who do the costume parties. I know they exist, but I've never in my circles, it's just not people. Oh, we're doing a costume party, blah blah blah. But haunted houses are a big deal. People are anxious to go, and I know people who go to haunted houses multiple times.
Yeah,
I'm like, how can you be scared a second time when you know everything that's going to happen?
Well, sometimes it's just looking at the effort of the people that made it, and just all the little details that they put in it.
Yeah.
So Roby,
kind of as a creative force, it's pretty amazing.
So Roby, do you do haunted houses?
I do.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
so
it's
what
pretty fun.
what do you like about haunted houses?
Well, there's small local ones that people just who are very passionate put together themselves, and neighborhood kids will line up for it. And I like those quite a bit just because it's one person's idea of what would be scary, and
Mm-hmm.
Do
and
they
then there's some
charge?
of them
Do
they
charge
do
them
it
to come
every
in?
year. What's that?
Do they charge them to come in?
Not much. I
They
mean,
do
it's
charge them, though.
donation.
Yeah.
It's like basically they don't charge,
Okay,
but
so it's not
they
doing free.
ask for a donation if you feel so inclined. So
Hmm.
peer pressure yourself through it.
Hmm.
But then there's the
Uh-oh.
bigger ones, and there's
What's
all
going
the
on?
haunted houses at places like Universal and Knott's, and
Yeah. I remember that Universal has the Walking Dead kind of thing, but that's
Mhm.
year round. Yeah.
yeah.
And that thing's pretty intense. I was shocked. I saw a family bring like a 5-year-old into that, and I just
It
was
depends
like,
on the 5-year-old.
that's a hard 5-year-old. They saw some real
Mhm.
trauma beforehand, I guess, because they weren't phased. But yeah. Peter, are there haunted houses over where you are? I mean, you know what I mean. They don't do that.
No, they're certainly not.
No.
At least I don't get invited to any.
Okay.
And I certainly wouldn't pay to go into a stranger's house, even if it's a donation.
A donation, quote unquote.
No, not going to happen. Not
It's
going to
an
happen.
experience, you have to
I mean,
enjoy
the
it.
haunted houses we have are at theme parks, and they're not really haunted houses. They're like rides.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, we don't do it the way you guys do it. Sorry.
Fair enough. It's always fun to find out what things we have that are uniquely American, so that's pretty interesting.
Stephen Brown said his
Halloween is definitely the American holiday.
Nice.
It's not a holiday. Is it a holiday? You don't
No,
get a day off. do
we
you?
should
No.
take a day off. We really should, but
I would like it because my birthday follows Halloween.
oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so it would kind of be like my birthday would be a holiday.
That'd be great.
Not bad.
Stephen Brown says his favorites are Christmas and Halloween.
Yeah.
And then he says, I finally got my spell checked, so hopefully it would be okay. So he must mean his. So I thought he was talking about his post there because he misspelled Christmas, but I think he means I finally got my comic spell check, so hopefully it'll be on Indiegogo soon to other creators and not just readers. So yeah, we're anxious to see that happen. Also, you gotta update your logo. Remember last time we talked about it being your comic, so you gotta update your logo, dude. Jackson Rennick says the worst haunted house I've ever been to was while living in Utah in my teens. It was run by Mormons. That's all I'll say.
Wow. Sounds fairly tame.
So it's funny when we lived in Tennessee in the early aughts. The church that I went to did for Halloween did something called Judgment House, right?
Wow.
Of course.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Be judged.
It was incredibly popular.
Uh-huh.
And I actually got to play Satan.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow.
we built me in this room. So what they did basically, it was a story of a life of someone who was killed and then they're sent to hell, right? And so I got to play Satan, and I set up on a throne. And they put at the time, this was 20 years ago, I did not wear any glasses whatsoever. I did not wear any eye utensils, but they put because they wanted because we had black lights in the room where I was, and so they put contact lenses in my eyes so that my eyes would glow. And I can't remember. I think they glowed red, right? But I couldn't see a thing out of them.
Oh, no.
Right. And so I had these contacts, and it's like, they're like, hey, when you're doing this, why don't you get up and walk over here? And I'm like, because I'll fall off my throne and I won't be able to see anything. It's like, so I mostly just sat on the throne and they had a voice changer microphone. So I was talking like Satan, I gotta
Just
say,
have this image of people going, "Oh, Satan's drunk again." Don't worry, kids. Satan's drunk. Don't drink.
I gotta say, I had so much fun doing that, right?
Yeah.
And I had people after it was all over, because what I would do is I would stand and I would just point, because I knew where the people were, right? They had like a little rope that they brought them in the room. I knew where they were, but I couldn't see them, right? And so I would just, point. And I had people say, "You pointed right at me."
Yeah.
So,
that's great.
it was it was kind of funny. I gotta, since we're talking about haunted houses, I don't really do haunted houses that much. But I do recall, and my dad, that was my dad calling, leaving me this really long message, so I had to mute myself. He would be upset if I did not tell this story. So when I was probably 17 or 18, my family went to a haunted house. We just all packed, piled into the car, and we went to a haunted house. And I'm not generally scared of haunted houses. Usually they I'm not talking about jump scares where you're sitting there and someone goes boo. Yeah, okay, well, that's a jump scare. That's not really scary, you know what I mean? And so it wasn't really a scary haunted house, and it was fun. And we came back home laughing and cutting up and everything. Well, so my house was kind of laid out in kind of a figure 8, as far as being able to, you could kind of go through the bedrooms, and then, into the hallway, into the kitchen, into the living room, and kind of around to my mom's sewing room. So we all come in the back door when I'm first, right? And my dad, I didn't realize this. My dad comes in right behind me, and he zips right, okay, heading towards his bedroom in the hallway. Well, and I'm just kind of lollygagging through, do. Well, he runs through his bedroom, grabs a sheet off of his bed, right? Throws it over himself and starts walking down the hall. So by the time I get to the hall, my dad's like, woo! I lost my legs.
I hope that's all you lost.
It is. I lost my legs.
That's funny.
And I fell to the ground.
He,
I'm thinking my dad.
he must have been so pleased.
He was very pleased. He tells that story. If you ever meet my dad and say, "Tell me about the haunted house," oh, he would revel in telling that story. Yeah, he appreciates that.
That's great.
So,
Yeah, that's a good one though.
Yeah,
He definitely got you.
Yeah. When my kids were little, we took them to a because BJ worked in academics for for 20 years. I mean, that was pretty much her. Okay, hold on. I forgot I was going to do something here. Here we go. Yeah, don't forget to hit like, share, subscribe as well. So you guys make sure you're doing that. I only see one heart on our page. So Stephen, Jackson, you guys make sure you like, share it out, right? But anyway, we used to take our kids to my wife worked at on the university campuses, right? And so the dorms would all the girls' dorms where we lived in, well, I guess this was in Tennessee. They put on a Halloween. They basically turned their whole dorm into a haunted house, and so we took the kids one year, and so Brittany has the habit. When she was young, she had the habit of literally just running. Right? If she got scared, she didn't just turn around and grab onto me. No, she ran. It's like, we went to Chuck E. Cheese one time. You know what Chuck E. Cheese is? You guys?
No, yeah, I mean, I've heard it.
It's for Peter. It's American fine cuisine, just so that you know.
Yes, it sounds of the highest quality.
Exactly.
With a dancing rat.
Only for
Yeah,
those,
dancing rat. Yeah.
only for those with discerning tastes. So
So we're standing there at the door waiting for Chuck E. Cheese to come out, right? And the minute he makes his appearance, my daughter turns around and just runs, right? But when the way that it was built, they had their counter, and if you went slightly to the right of the counter, you ended up in the back in the kitchen, right? So customers weren't supposed to go that way. Customers were also supposed to go to the left. My daughter, she was just, she ends up way back in the kitchen. Right?
wow.
And of course, we're standing there right beside you. Why are you running away from us? Are you? If he was a really bad, are you just going to leave us there, right?
That's like there was that TV show called Scare Tactics. I don't know if you saw it, like a prank video show where they would do scary things to people, and then you know on camera, and they would do horrible things, and they would like stage like a alien abduction where this couple's going down this road, and then they would set up a roadblock, and then it was a cab, it was like a Uber or something like that, and then lights come out, and the alien, just an alien suit, comes out, rips the door off the car, and it was, and the people that they prank was a guy and his girlfriend, and the guy left the girlfriend in the car.
No way.
And it was funny, but you're just like, oh my gosh, how's he going to explain this? I mean, how do you explain that afterwards?
Well, and you gotta start asking yourself, does she hang with him after that?
Yeah, exactly. It's
like, dude, you left me.
It's like a crisis test,
Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah, really.
Definitely.
Roberta, are you suggesting that should be part of premarital counseling?
I'm saying it's one of those things that she's lucky she saw it early.
Unfortunately, the whole nation saw it too.
Yeah. Stephen Brown says he's working on his comic. He's working on it, and he plans to use the account to post videos. Oh, look, he changed it. Look, okay, I changed it. Oh, I like that. That's a cool image.
Yeah, that looks cool.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
on that.
But he says still don't have a name yet, so I wouldn't over worry that part. It'll come to you, and just at the right time, it'll come to you, and you're like, yeah, that's it. If you remember, we didn't have a name for the Silverline Team Up book for a long time. Yeah, we just called it. Tommy still calls it Champ Fury. When I talk to him, he still says Champ. I'm working on Champ Fury.
And I hope it's okay if I chime in on that, because I did get to read Silverline Team Up.
Yes,
issue, and I enjoyed it. However, the name Silverline Team Up, I noticed in the foreword, was misattributed because I'm the one that came up with that. So
did you really?
Yeah, we were on. We were on.
Extract a lot and send them back to the printer.
I'm gonna have Tommy print me a special edition.
Oh, well. So here's the cool thing about print on demand. Curtis, do me a favor. Send me that email real quick, right? Just so that we don't forget it. So that it's sitting in I use my email. For those who don't know, I use my email as my to-do list, right? So send me an email really quick right now, and I will change that. The thing about it is, I was writing that, and I'm like, I think that was Mike Belcher that did that.
Yeah, I think what you told me afterwards is I said it when we were on the show, and you're like, that's awesome, and you said something like, that's why I hired you to have all these ideas, and then I think you gave it to Mike to go ahead and test it out. So. but now we just made those first run of Silverline Team Up special edition, because
that's right.
That's not going to be there anymore. So now we have two different collectors.
Oh,
well, this literally is one of the coolest things about print on demand is that I'll make this change and I will upload it to Kablam. And moving forward, any book that's ordered off of Indie Planet, or when we go back to print more, we'll have the corrected page on it. So I love that. In fact, I probably should make notes of this, but there are a couple of comics that have revised inside front covers because I found something similar to that, right? Where I'm like, that's not accurate. Or I think one time I left the cover credits completely off. So I had the interior credits, like, writer, penciler, inker, colorist, letterer, blah blah. But there was no cover credits at all, and I'm like, well, crap. And so I just redid it and fixed that, and sent it back out. And no one is, no, really, unless you point it out, no one will be the wiser, unless, of course, it's your name that's not on the book, and you get one of the first ones, and you're like, oh wait, hey, I did the cover. Where's my name? Right. So I'm sorry about that, Curtis.
No worries.
But
we have to re-sign them all now.
What's that?
You have to re-sign them all.
Oh, I haven't opened it yet. But look what came in today. Let's see here. Can I do this here?
Can I move my artwork out of the way?
No.
There we go.
Okay. Gotta move the. Can y'all see that?
Hit over you, so I can't see you.
There's a banner in front of your face.
I realized that.
I can't move the banner off.
No,
there you go. Okay, I got it.
Here we go.
The size.
Hey, that's from me.
Yeah. I went to open it, and I'm like, man, he has sealed this tight. So I haven't actually even got to chance, because, like I said, I came in from the convention and the package was waiting for me, and so I opened it, and then I'm like, oh man, it's sealed here, like a.
Yeah, I always worry after I seal them up that I've forgotten to put something in there, because I'm like, I'm never gonna get it open now. I just don't want them to bend it. That's all. The last thing you do is you do all that work, and then you send it, and it gets bent and ripped, and so I was like, oh.
Yeah.
That stuff seems to do a good job. Those little foam boards.
So anyway, yeah, I got that. I haven't opened it yet because I need a surgical knife to get into it. Because
you don't have an X-Acto normally at hand.
Right? Yeah. Oh, an X-Acto. Roberta, did you just talk about ancient technology?
Ancient technology. I still use it.
I think I've got.
Because I'd be an artist. I have like an artist knife. I call them a scalpel, but what are they called? An X-Acto blade, something like that. I have them on my desk, so I can slice things open. I just assume everyone has them. Yeah, that's it. After that, exactly that one. Yeah.
Yep. This one here is probably good 30 years old.
I like the scalpel idea.
Yeah.
I left some room in one for you to be able to get in and just slice it open.
I appreciate that. Yeah, but I haven't actually had the chance to open that part up yet. Stephen Brown says, this logo is not for a comic, it's for my brand. Oh, okay. Any comic you see with this logo, you'll know I made it. So I just haven't figured out my comic brand name. Yeah, no. That's all good. You want to have brand recognition. And that's important. In fact, we talk about this quite a bit amongst ourselves, and Curtis was very instrumental early on in saying, hey, Roland, brand, and so a lot of what you see is thanks to Curtis being on the ball. I mean, that's why he's the creator.
There you go, Curtis. You got credit for something.
See, there we go. Tell my life.
Well, let's see. I don't have one of my business cards handy. Or wait a minute, can I reach my wallet? But Curtis is the one who designed. Yes, I do. Mm-hmm. So Curtis is the one who. Let me go me solo here for a minute. So Curtis is the one who designed my card, right? And then the back.
Yeah, that's cool.
I like the back. That's neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find business cards very difficult because you needed to. Yeah. Stand out.
Yeah, well, and two, the thing about it is these days, Curtis is like, hey, what everybody? Well, Roberta was on the street. What happened to her?
He took over.
There we go.
Okay. Yeah, there we are.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's the other thing. The difficult thing about business cards today is so many people are digitally connected. Their Instagrams and Facebooks and emails and all that stuff. It's kind of like, well, do I really need a business card You know, and I think my opinion, of course, the answer is still yes, because it's a visual connection. It's a visual reminder of a personal connection that you made at some place. You know, you go home. I usually put when I get business cards from people, I usually will either put them in my wallet or in my pocket. And so when I get home, I pull them out, and it's a visual reminder of the connection that I made, right? So, yeah. Any other haunted house stories anybody wants to tell?
I do them.
Good.
Yeah, so I know people who decorate their yards with, you know, gravestones and skeletons and stuff like that. We've never really done that so much, but but BJ loves fall, right? So she like at our old house, she used to love. We would go buy these hay bales, and we would put out you know, hay, basically hay bales at our front door, and pumpkins, and, you know, fall stuff. I think we had a scarecrow at one point in time. We would stick in one of the hay bales. I can't remember. Oh, corn stalks. We used to take corn stalks and tie them to the post on our front door. You know, so we had a little, I don't know, a little porch, and in front of the porch, you know, we had these posts that would hold up the covering. And we would buy these corn stalks, and we would literally just tie them to the. So when you came by my house, you would see hay and corn stalks there. She absolutely loves the fall stuff, so you'd see a lot of that at our house. Pasta Van Zandt says popcorn balls. On Christmas trees. You know, yeah. So we didn't do a whole lot of that for fall stuff, but yeah, people make popcorn balls. I gotta say, I've never understood that. It's like,
what are they?
I've always had cats, and whatever went on the Christmas tree had to be not interesting enough for that.
Yeah, but popcorn balls, Pete. Literally, they take popcorn, and they string them together, and that becomes like a string of lights that you hang around your Christmas tree. It's just a string of popcorn that you hang around your tree.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it would just be more of a budget decoration, right? That's kind of the
yeah.
Or it's just a fun arts and crafts thing for kids to do.
Yeah, Pops says Granny made them every year. So. Yeah,
that's heard of those.
You know, I know what they are, but my family never did any of that. Now we made the paper chains. You know, you take the paper and you fold them up and you make the little kind of like on the Christmas cover. There was
the little links.
The little links. Yeah, you cut them up into little strips, and then you link them like a chain.
Paper chain.
What's that?
A paper chain.
A paper chain. Yeah. Well, we would do that, and you know, you'd find that on the tree.
Well, Pete, don't over where you are? Don't you have like or I don't know how common it is, but isn't it like the paper crown and like the popper? Is that what it's called, or how does that work?
Yes. I mean, do you not?
No.
What's a paper crown?
Wait.
I don't have anything like that.
So you don't put a cracker over Christmas dinner?
No.
Cracker.
Cracker means something very different over here. Than sorry.
All
right, Curtis. Don't start talking about us Southerners now.
It goes bang, and then inside you have a little crown. You put on a little paper crown. There's a joke. There's a toy. What else do you get? I think
it's
that's
like a tube, right? It's like a cardboard tube.
Yeah, it's a cracker,
right?
Just Christ, Curtis, it's a cracker. Well, your Christmases must be so dull and so joyless.
Hey,
you don't have
Santa
crackers.
Claus comes to see us. What's a cracker?
Yeah,
It is.
we had.
I tell you, right? if you are wealthy
Mhm.
and so inclined, you can buy some very, very expensive crackers where
Really?
Rolexes come out.
What?
Yes, I mean they're rather expensive.
Sure.
The standard cracker set you get in the supermarket will have a little plastic toy and a joke and a crown for you to wear. Yeah,
And it's called a cracker set.
it's called a cracker, a box
A
of
cracker.
crackers.
Oh.
Yeah. Not a cracker as in a cheese and
Saltines.
crackers.
Yeah.
It's yeah. Oh, you people have really missed out on something in your life.
I feel I'm always like the bearer of bad news when I say this stuff to Pete. I feel so bad. The sheer disappointment.
It's you I feel sorry for, Curtis. It's you that's missed out.
Hey, we have White Castle. That's all I'm saying, Pete.
Yes, you do. Yes, yes, you do. So what do
It's
you do
easy
over
to-
what do you do over the dinner table? At dinner, at
No, you
Christmas?
just eat
We
dinner
eat.
and then it's open the gates.
Yeah,
the next day.
sure.
Just get drunk and abuse each other. So it's not Christmas.
Sierra says hello all.
Hey,
Hello,
Kasisi.
Kasisi. We mentioned you earlier.
Yeah.
Cece looks like a guy that has a cracker on the dinner table over the Christmas table. He gets some crackers in.
I bet he doesn't know what it is either.
Yeah, but this also reminds me, you guys, you don't know what Easter eggs are.
Easter eggs, yeah, we
What do
do.
you mean?
No, you really don't.
Oh, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
So-
Oh, whoa,
Real.
Kasisi says, I know what they are, but we didn't have those.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for you, Kasisi. You've missed out as well. Yeah, so when I was in America, it was Easter, and okay, that's a big thing as well. It's a religious
Right.
holiday, so yeah, we do the same thing here. But I was looking around the like Target and other like supermarket stores, more supermarket than Target. I was like, where are the Easter eggs? I can't see it. Where's the aisles of Easter eggs? And someone said, oh, here they are. He held up a little bag of little mini chocolate eggs.
Yeah.
I spit on that. What on earth is that? Right, Easter eggs here. They come in they come in a box, massive box. It's a massive giant egg, chocolate egg, and it's packed full of chocolates. So you get a Twix one, a Snickers one. They'll make an egg, and it'll come with Snickers. And you people really don't.
Nothing good ever came out of starting the sentence with you people.
This is true.
Kasisi says, I spit on that. I love it. I love it.
I couldn't believe. So I said, "Oh, here, I've got to find you some Easter eggs." I was like, "What the hell's that?" It's a bag of Easter eggs. I said, "No, it's not. I can get that anytime, anywhere. An Easter egg." And I send photos to my friends at Easter with the supermarket. They're lined with these huge boxes of chocolate eggs, and they can't believe it.
No,
You can't do Christmas right, and you can't do Easter right.
We'll have to.
Let me
Have
ask you this.
Halloween.
Do you say? I mean, is it always Merry Christmas, or do you also say Happy Christmas? Because I thought I've heard it said that way, or is it?
Happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, yeah, any of that's fine.
Yeah, because we're strictly Merry. I don't think we ever say Happy Christmas. We're always Merry
No.
Christmas over here. So
Do you say Happy Thanksgiving?
Happy Thanksgiving, yeah.
Mhm.
yeah.
You say Merry Thanksgiving.
No,
No.
no,
No.
never Merry Thanksgiving.
Do you say sorry?
Yeah, but we never mean it because this is America.
We sent you there to do it. It's fine. We're just as responsible. We don't do Thanksgiving, obviously.
Yeah.
right, yeah.
I wouldn't think so. Look at that.
You also don't do July 4th, do you?
No, not here.
I love on Facebook when it was 4th of July, you know,
Yeah, Pete.
Silverline chat, everybody saying Happy 4th of July, Happy 4th of July, and then Peter just comes in, you know, what'd you say, like?
Happy Trader's Day.
Trader's Day.
Yeah,
Happy Trader's Day. I remember
How's that
that.
working out for you? You can't do Christmas, you can't do Easter. Now.
But we can do our haunted houses.
You can have a Halloween. Have it.
but I can't trump you. We did create comic books, so
There you go.
oh, there it
There
is.
is that. No, yes,
There
it's
is that.
fine
That's saving grace.
American art form,
Yeah.
alive and well.
Fine American art form that most Americans don't appreciate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's a strange one actually.
It really is. And that's
They did at one
something we ought to-
point.
What's that? They did at one point, yeah.
They did at one
Yeah.
point.
I don't know why. Is it because it was initially aimed at kids? Do you think that's
You
what it
know,
was?
so all right, so hold on. Beep, time out,
Oh.
Pete.
Wait.
Learning time.
Initially aimed at kids. Hold on. Now that's something you hear frequently that's not quite true. So if you look at the history of comics, initially comics came about in the 1930s. Those were not aimed at kids, right? In the late 1930s. Those were aimed at general audiences. And in fact, some of the biggest audiences in the 1940s, early 40s were GIs, right? Who were, 18 and up. Or 16 and up if they lied, like a handful of men did, so that they could join the service. So they were not initially aimed at kids. What happened is, in the 1950s, the most popular comics, because superheroes lost their popularity, after the war was over. People didn't need the spandex heroes, punching Nazis. And so, cowboy westerns, romances, horrors, those were super popular in the 1950s. Well, enter a guy named, now I would have thought they would have told you about this guy at Kubert School. They may have. You may have just been one of those that you were like, I just want to draw. A guy by the name of Frederick Wortham came along. And now in the 1950s, Frederick Wortham was the premier child psychologist. He was like when I was young, it was Dr. Spock, right? Dr. Spock was always, this is what you do for kids. This is how you handle kids and that kind of thing. Well, it was Frederick Wortham at the time. Well, Frederick Wortham came out and he said that comics create juvenile delinquents. He said, if you let your children read comic books, they will become juvenile delinquents. Well, here's the problem. Americans believed him. And listen, I'll send you a link, Pete.
Was that Seduction of the Innocent? It's
Seduction of the Innocent.
Yeah.
Seduction of the Innocent was the name of the book that he wrote. Which, for those of you who are big convention people, you will remember that there was a Seduction of the Innocent band that was made out of. Let's see, who was in it? Steve, and I never get this guy's name right, but he's an inker, Steve Leialoha.
Leialoha, yeah.
Okay, that guy, yeah.
That's one.
He was in it. Bill Mooney was in it. Shoot, I've forgotten. I used to be able to name all of them. But anyway, and they played at San Diego Comic-Con. But what happens then is Pete, there's what I was going to say. There's this video I'm going to send you, and you're gonna start watching it, and you're gonna laugh because you're gonna think it's comedy, but it's not. If you realize, oh my gosh, this guy's real, because he comes on there. You've seen the Twilight Zone, the old black and white Twilight Zones.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It starts off a little bit like that. Your child could be reading a comic book. He could have gone out and played ball. He could have gone out and run with his pals, but he chose to stay home and read a comic book. And you're gonna laugh, but it's real, right? And so he literally he shows these group of boys playing, and they're reading comic books, and he reads one of them. And the horror was very popular, right, in the 50s. And it shows this one kid read a horror book and then pulls out a knife and starts stabbing a tree. And he's like looking at his pal, like, I'm going to stab you next, right? And so it scared the crap out of parents. And this is what gave us the comics code, right? So Archie and Marvel and DC, they're like, holy crap, because it killed EC Comics. That's why EC died, right? And so Marvel, DC, Archie, they were like, okay, we don't want to die. So we'll come up with a voluntary code that we all submit our work to, and we'll put the little stamp on there, and you don't get distribution nationally unless you have that comics code approval on there. And they made up a board that you would submit all of your comics to, and they had to give it the stamp of approval. At one point in time, the code changed like 3 or 4 times. At one point in time, you could not show like Satan or demons or anything like. You couldn't show that at all, right? And that changed in the 70s. And as soon as that changed, we got Son of Satan. We got there was like 2 or 3 comics that came out right there at the same time, and they were all like very horror minded. But the long and the short of it is this: is that because of Frederick Wertham and because of this whole idea that comics created juvenile delinquents, it implanted into basically the comics history that comics were originally made for kids, and that is not the case. It became that way because of Frederick Wertham, right? But initially they were made for all audiences. So,
well, a little lesson. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Anytime I hear somebody say, "Oh, comics were originally created for kids," I'm like, well, not really.
Yeah, and it's
mistake, kids.
Yeah. And those EC comics are phenomenal. I mean, it's a phenomenal artwork. I mean, it's a shame what happened to them. Yeah.
And had some fantastic artists working on it.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff. So,
yeah. It's so cool to as you see these, to watch Roberta, right, and just see these images, just these panels just take shape. You know.
I always feel like this is the most boring part, but I'm glad it's at least entertaining.
No, I like it because you see, it starts with the line work, right? And then you just start dropping in these big blocks of colors, and then suddenly, this becomes something, and then this becomes something. You're like, look, it's taking shape. So,
and I always love that temperature in all your coloring. Like, I love that, it's not a stark white, it's not a cool white, it's that kind of creamy white on the Santa Claus hat. It's like already starting to give that temperature. Just great. Great stuff. Yeah, definitely.
And then when I finally get to put the lighting in, I get all happy.
Get all happy.
It's like you get
it's like
right?
this, I have to get through this process first. So that's where I do all my thinking.
Yeah. So now, when you're doing the lighting is when you're doing the thinking. Is that what you're saying?
When I'm dropping in these colors here, because then I see it as a whole piece. You start getting the mood down, and you're like, okay, it's got to move here. I've got to look at this first. No, I don't. I got to look at this first. So you kind of start moving across the page and see where your eyes go. So then I can do the lighting to accentuate the focus. So this is more of a, like, while it's kind of peaceful, I'm doing my decisions.
Yeah. No, I love to see this. I love to, like I said, because it sort of, you drop in the big blocks, and then you kind of come along and just start. I don't know, for lack of a better word, you start cutting the other pieces out, and they start popping out from the rest of the image,
coming forward.
Yeah. Yeah, very cool.
Roberta, because I know I'm always so busy looking at the actual colors. Do you make a big deal out of having folders and stuff like that, and kind of being super organized with your layers, or do you kind of just drop?
I'm organized with my layers, but folders don't organize me.
Okay.
I have a system that I think works out pretty well, and that is, anything that I feel like I'm going to change gets its layer.
Okay.
Or anything I'm going to need the shape of often gets its own layer. But my initial goal is to put everything on its own little flats layer so that it can have, everything represented first.
Yeah.
And then the bits and pieces that I'm going to need a lot are going to start getting more and more attention.
And when you move to the other pages, do you just take the eyedropper and use that same red from the first page, or do you
I have because I make skin tone decisions, and characters will continue throughout the pages. So yeah.
Sure. That's great.
Yeah, if I don't do that, then I would make, then I would go through the trouble of making on the palette as a swatch.
Mhm.
But sometimes it's just as easy to just open the page and eyedropper it.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, it depends on how many pages I need to have the same colors go for. So
Sure.
I think it seems to make the most sense to get all of the flat colors down for all the pages you have first. That way you can kind of decide if you're going to change anything.
Ah. So you try to flat all the pages before you going back in and
Yeah, if I get a lot at once, if I
Yeah.
get only one at a time, then I just wait and
obviously
see
it's hard to
see
do
how
that,
it
right?
develops. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah, very cool. Ah, that was cool. It's
That's
fast.
one. Yeah, one thing. And then he's got a belt, so he's probably going to have his little Santa color.
Let's see. Who else? Favorite holiday?
I mean, for me, definitely Halloween, but also Christmas, of course, and it's always interesting because the two different kind of cultures of my mom and my dad,
Mhm.
So Christmas into New Year's, right? So like from Japanese side of the family for New Year's, we would always have what's called mochi. I don't know if you know what mochi is, but it's like a dessert
Really good.
made out of like sweet rice flour dough, and we'd make that every New Year's. You'd actually have to go ahead and like an assembly line, and you just lay out all this dough, and you kind of mold into almost like, I guess you could say, like a cupcake, I guess, for lack of a better word.
Oh, okay.
You have the sweet bean filling, but you just like it would take it was like one of those all day kind of things,
Wow.
And so, yeah, so we
That was
would
fun.
yeah, it was cool. You can do that with the grandparents, and then from my mom's side, from Texas and Oklahoma, it would be what would it be? It'd be black-eyed peas and ham, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So like these two very different cultures, but fun, fun stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Black-eyed peas and ham. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, and Christmas in Hawaii was always funny because we have no chimneys, right? So it's like, when you're a kid, how does Santa come down the chimney if there is none? So
Right. Yeah.
it took a little creative explaining. So yeah. How about over where you are, Peter? Is the whole Santa thing as big a deal as it is here, or is that?
Well, I have to be careful what I say now. I don't know if you still believe in Santa or not. So, yes,
Wait, what do you mean?
Curtis, we all look forward to seeing Santa on Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, can't have Christmas without Santa Claus.
Yeah.
We all have chimneys, so
Yeah, you do.
Exactly.
Well, and I think one of the most classic Christmas stories ever written was by a Brit, right?
Mm. That's
you mean Charles Dickens?
Charles Dickens, Christmas
yes,
Carol.
of course, Christmas
Yeah.
Carol, which gets
Yeah.
made every year.
Right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I still maintain the finest ones with Patrick Stewart, giving an excellent Britishness.
Nice.
But no, yeah, of
I
course,
don't
yeah.
know that I've ever seen that one.
Oh, you must watch it at Christmas.
Okay.
You can finally try to correct some of the mistakes you've made of Christmas past in America. If you can't get the crackers, at least watch Patrick Stewart on Christmas Day.
Well, I'm a Patrick Stewart fan, so that won't be hard to
course.
convince me to do.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Excalibur, Pete?
Oh God.
Yes.
The movie? Yeah.
John Boorman.
Yeah. Oh man, that's one of my all-time favorite movies, and Patrick Stewart is in it.
Yeah. And have you noticed how much in Batman versus Superman they allude to that film multiple times? It's very subtle, but normally when you have the Batman legend, it'll be Mark Zorro will be on the marquee of the movie theater that the Wayne family's come in.
Yes.
It's Excalibur in that movie.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Really?
And if you watch at the end, remember it has to do with that spear and the Spear of Destiny at the end. Somebody I think Superman gets impaled with the spear and dies, saving everybody, just like Arthur does in Excalibur. And the Spear of Destiny, which i.e. Excalibur, gets thrown in the water. They have to dive it. So right from the get, when you watch the opening, it's like there's a very clear nod to that John Boorman, or just the Arthurian legend in general.
Now I got to watch that movie again.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, pretty cool. Huh? Yeah,
And it's not really a movie I liked.
no, it's not that good.
Martha, why did you say that name?
What about
Wow.
Krampus? I think that's a cool tradition that other countries have that we never had, which is the antimatter Santa Claus, right? The evil Santa Claus. Are you familiar with that?
I'm familiar with Robot Santa from Futurama, who is perhaps the finest Santa Claus ever made.
Well, in France, they have a Père Fouettard, which is like the Father Whipper, which is basically like a dark Santa Claus with like this, sack full of switches. And if you're bad, Père Fouettard comes out and like will give you a swatting instead of a gift. Which is kind of cool. Yeah. It's kind of cool. Yeah.
There's gotta
Wubba's here. He says, you couldn't pay me enough to see Batman versus Superman again. It's really hard for me to disagree with that.
Strange enough, I do think the extended edition of that film is much, 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 much better.
I have not seen that, so
yeah, I was surprised. I was surprised how much better it is.
Yeah. Same with the Justice League extended version.
I've not seen that one yet. No, yeah.
I thought it was significantly better. Yeah.
I do think they are better. Yeah.
So I think my daughter told me that same thing about the Justice League. She's like, "Have you seen that yet?" I'm like, "It's 3 hours." And no, I have not had 3 hours to sit down and watch that yet. What is this? When is Silverline getting a holiday?
Series.
What's that?
Did they release it as a series in the end? I thought they were talking about releasing it as like it
was on
3 hour long.
Yeah, on HBO Max out here they had it.
Yeah.
Where we watch it.
So here's a question Wubba said. He says, when is Silverline getting a holiday?
Every Sunday, Silverline Sunday.
Yeah,
there you go. That's right. Every
Sunday holiday
is a holiday. Well, Tommy seems like he's been on holiday for a month now.
That guy's on holiday all the time. I don't know how he gets away with
it. He told me I got a message from I don't know if I can't remember if it was to our group or just to me, but he was like I'm planning on him being back on I think the 3rd, which is tomorrow. So I guess he's supposed to be back in the office. So he's probably coming back today. Which, why is he not on the stream with us then if he's back?
Yeah.
What it says sounds like Krampus Curtis Mitchell
Exactly.
Krampus Curtis Mitchell Fujita.
Yeah, that's my ego.
Wubba, we are. I know that. Of course, I got some messages from Wubba, so I know there's some cool things happening for him. But we're anxious to get you back on the stream, dude.
Yeah, come on
back with us. But yeah. So, who else? I've kind of forgotten which one of you I've asked favorite holidays.
What holidays are there? So I have Easter, Christmas, my birthday, Queen's birthday.
Oh, so the Queen's birthday is.
We don't celebrate the Queen's. Well, I mean, obviously we do, but it's not a public holiday.
He's like, I can tell y'all anything, and you'll
believe on fire tonight.
No, we don't. No, it's not a public holiday. We have. We had a celebration for her something jubilee. I don't know how many years it is. A couple of years back.
Being on the throne for
on
7
the throne,
years?
yeah,
that makes sense.
So
would you say
Diamond Jubilee? Maybe I don't know.
So would you say the royalty is more or less popular because of these Netflix shows?
With Americans, you can't. Are you saying? Or
well, no. I've heard mixed from the assorted folks on the island. I've heard mixed, attitudes about the royal family and the monarchy and stuff like that. Some are like, "Hey, it's time to do away with it." Some are like, "Yeah, I like them."
That.
What's that?
You always get that. It doesn't really matter what TV shows come out and whatnot. There are those that are happy, like the Queen
Mhm.
I get the impression the Queen's very well liked, right? Okay, everyone likes the Queen. She's
Yeah,
she's
she's
pretty
cool.
diamond. Shit.
Yeah,
It's,
I think she's liked over here as well.
yeah. Unfortunately, the rest of the family don't always. Prince William seems to be very well loved and respected. Prince Harry, probably unfairly, he's judged just because of who he married. He married an American.
So he's the one that's over here now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one that's not super loved by Americans either because of some of the things they said.
Yeah, well, he's in a position where people listen to him, so he speaks up to what he feels is,
Yep.
and I think that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't go into the rest of the family too much, but
yeah,
I like the royal family. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine with the Queen. Yeah, I don't think the show matters too much. Princess Di
she was
untouchable.
Oh, yeah.
She's the golden one.
Yeah.
Rightly or wrongly. So
yeah. And of course, my wife and
I think the people get very sensitive about how she is portrayed. Obviously, she's dead, so she can't defend herself.
Yeah,
but she's beloved by everybody. So
yeah, you kind of there's kind of this don't speak ill of the dead kind of thing. Yeah. Well, I know Princess Di was certainly well loved over here as well.
Yeah. So not all bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like I'm sure you have an equivalent sort of family.
Oh, it's called the U.S. Congress.
Is the Kennedy family not sort of thought of as like the?
Yeah. I think we got a handful of families like that. I think the Kennedys.
Tom Hanks.
What's that?
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks. Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone loves Tom Hanks.
Yeah. Wubba says, I'll be back soon, hopefully from the Magnolia State, broadcasting from the Magnolia State.
What is a Magnolia State?
So I will say, since he said it, I'll go ahead and say, Wubba is actually looking to move to my home state of Mississippi. I think that he's got I think his current job has some possibilities down there for him, and he is looking to move to Hattiesburg, which is where I met Stephen Butler and Mitch Bird, and where Silverline was formed.
That's cool.
All those many years ago. So that's for me. That's kind of exciting. That I know it's changed a lot since I was there, but still, it's kind of exciting to know that he's going to end up there. Or could possibly end up there. So I'm excited for that. Yeah. So I guess, Pete, one question I have. So we, the French have what, Bastille Day. We have the July 4th. And I know. I don't guess Canada has anything. I know Mexico has some kind of yeah. Is there anything like that from in England?
Yes.
Do you have like a what is it?
We have Guy Fawkes Bonfire Night.
Oh, okay.
It celebrates it celebrates Guy Fawkes and the capture and execution of Guy Fawkes when he tried to blow up the Houses of Parliament.
Right. Yeah.
So we have fireworks and we set fire to a Guy Fawkes effigy.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
Nowadays, did the whole V for Vendetta thing? Did anybody try and did people show up with the mask or anything like that? Or is it just
that mask is so popular now?
Yeah.
Oh man, isn't it though?
It represents everything anti-establishment, and good for that, because that's what he was. So.
Right. Yeah, it's funny because CC just asked, "Is Guy Fawkes Day really a holiday?" Then he goes, "LOL, never mind."
Yeah. It's not a holiday. We just celebrate. We have a fireworks night and bonfire night.
Oh, okay.
In the cold.
So I didn't know if it was like a and I don't know what month this was, but I didn't know if you had like a 1066 day.
No. Every day is a celebration of being British. No, we don't celebrate being conquered by the Normans. Dark day in British history.
Oh my gosh.
No, yeah, interesting subject. Huh?
Pete, I think you missed your career in stand-up. I'm serious. Like, your dry sense of humor is like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I know it.
Yeah, I was talking to Tommy the other day, and this goes back a couple of weeks, and he says, I like going back and listening to some of our old streams. He goes, Pete's one-liners just crack me up. He said we'll all be sitting there talking about something. He goes, Pete, be quiet over there talking or drawing, and then suddenly he'll just pop out this zinger. He goes, it just makes me laugh.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of any others if we do celebrate anything particularly British. No, obviously Remembrance Day. I think you obviously do the same. In the Second World War.
Yep.
And First World War. No.
So there's nothing that really kind of celebrates the
we do
or end of Britain.
Oh goodness, no.
Okay, interesting. Yes,
one doesn't celebrate being great. It's not the done thing. It's not the British way. We do. You know what we do, and I don't think you guys do this. I don't think anyone else does this actually. On the 26th of December, after Christmas Day, we have Boxing Day.
I've heard about that, but I don't know what that is.
Nor do we really.
Didn't have something to do with like the workers at the the bigger estates and stuff like that. They would give them the gifts or things after the fact. Am I wrong? No.
I mean, your guess is as good as mine, right? So
you don't even know what it is.
We don't really. My nan used to think it was because on that day they'd put the boxing on the television.
Awesome.
Logical, could be true. It could also be like Curtis says. That's the day that I don't know. That's the boxers were thrown out. Anyway, it's another day off basically. Whatever day falls on, it's a day off.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Boxing Day. I've heard of it, but it's one of those things like, I don't know what it is.
Now it's the day the sales start in the shops. But
yeah. It's kind of like the day before Thanksgiving now, or no. Thanksgiving Day is the day over here. It's like nuts. You do not want to go.
Oh, is that Black Friday?
Black Friday, yeah. Oh, that's the day after Thanksgiving in it. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, we've started doing Black Friday here as well now.
Oh my goodness, it is so nuts.
Dangerous.
Yeah,
anything to get the sales.
And the thing is like, it's like the first two people, to get this 80-inch TV can get it for $1.
Yeah.
And people are like,
really?
Crawling over top of each other to try to get it. It's not just look for videos sometime on YouTube. They literally, these folks will set a pallet down, rip things open like cell phones, and then they'll just back away as people just crawl over, fight for those things. And
it's like that movie World War Z where all the zombies kind of form like a land bridge. It's pretty nuts. Bob said where he's going to be is just a couple of hours from New Orleans for some awesome reference shots. Absolutely for upcoming cat and mouse stories. Nice.
And he said that Alan Moore intended that using the Guy Fawkes mask. He corrected it. I kind of like Guy Fawkes better.
Yeah.
the Guy Fawkes.
If I have a Guy Fawkes themed restaurant, that's what I'll call it.
So I guess I kind of like I hear my phone, and I think nobody in my house is answering the phone. I don't know why. So I'm about to have to mute myself again when the answer machine goes off. I tend to like Christmas and just
hello.
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, I'm gonna just throw Cassisi's comment up here while Roland's taking care of it. He says, "Oops, sorry." The day after, yeah. So, not too sure. Maybe that was about the Boxing Day. I don't know.
I honestly don't know what that is. I should find out, but
well, for let's see, no one likes New Year's. Because Cece says no one likes New Year's. I like New Year's.
it's such a palaver, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everywhere suddenly becomes pay to get in, and everything, all the prices go up, and it's like, oh, then I've got to stay up late. And I'm like, no, I'm too old now. I don't enjoy it.
Do you do New Year's resolutions? Because I know a lot of people use it at that time.
I do come up with New Year's resolutions. I don't intend to keep them at all.
Just surely for the sport of it.
Just for the fun of it. What ridiculous thing can I come up with? It's not going to last. Never done one.
Let's see. Welba chimed in. Welba said, "I'm gonna call now just to hear that again." I guess he wants to call. I guess for Roland's voicemail. And Stephen Brown says, "At some point, I'll have to get booths at conventions. How do I know when a convention is coming other than MegaCon?" And I think
a comic question.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you have to just Google conventions.
Yeah, whichever ones are in your area,
Yeah.
Start following them,
and then apply. Yeah, that's all I do. I Google and just if they look interesting or they look like they could be successful, I'll do the online if it's open at that point.
Mm. Yeah, there's often you can find lists like the list of comic conventions state by state over here in the U.S. You can just Google comic conventions in Florida, and it'll come up with this this big list of stuff that you can do. So, and then of course once you kind of get plugged into some of the conventions, conventions kind of promote each other. Stephen Brown, where are you geographically? You mentioned MegaCon, so I'm going to guess you're here in Florida. That would be my guess. I just did the convention that I just came back from was in Palm Beach, down north of just a little bit north of Miami. So, and the way I found out about that one is that when I was at another show, and you can often find things like this at comic shows. If you look at the freebie tables, you can often find little postcards about upcoming conventions. I got this one, which this one is a local one that me and Haley Martin. I think maybe just me, Haley, and Dante will be at this one. But then there's another one, and I thought I had the card for it as well. That there'll be a handful of us there. But you look for things like this at the conventions that you go to, and this is one of the best ways to find out which conventions are where, and you kind of got to get plugged in. This is a good question from Cassisi. He says, "Is there a Veterans Day over there, Pete? Like a military Veterans Day?"
No, you do Veterans Day. No, not really. One thing you guys I think do very well is you look after your veterans. I don't think we do that very well here.
Really?
Not because we don't care. It's just right. I don't think our government is particular. You spend so much money on your military.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
So you do look after your soldiers better than we have. Obviously, better state care than you guys do. So the state does look after everybody. It looks after everybody, not just veterans.
Right.
But so we have to put down on Veterans Day. We do Memorial Day.
Because Cassisi is a veteran. So
thank you.
Yep, absolutely. We appreciate your service, Cassisi. I know I told him that when he was when he was in my class. Yeah, absolutely. So what I was going to say before my phone rang is that, and we need to wrap it up. For me, my two favorite holidays tend to be July 4th and Christmas. And the main reasons behind those are usually when I get to see my family. My family kind of collects for those holiday. We don't really, I mean, we don't collect for any of the other, we don't get together for Easter. We don't get together for, Halloween and any of the other holidays. But July 4th, my family, where they live in Arkansas, is a small farming community. The community has a parade, a 4th of July parade that is tradition for as long as I can remember. There's a railroad track that goes literally through the middle of town. And every single year, well, I shouldn't say every year. There's always an exception, right? But just about every single year, in the middle of the parade, a train runs. So the parade has to halt and let the train go through. Mm-hmm. And once the train is through, then the parade resumes. And it literally, the parade is about a mile long, right? It goes from the town square. On the other side of the town square is the First Baptist Church, and they all collect up in the parking lot of the First Baptist Church, and they literally go down through Main Street until they hit the fairgrounds, and then that's where they disperse. And then at the fairgrounds, there's always a little carnival kind of set up, and there's booths there. Now, here's the thing: the carnival lasts for a couple of days, but the 4th is always the final day of it, right? But on the 4th, that's where they have the booth set up so that you can play bingo. You can buy hamburgers. They have a kitchen set up that always serves the meals throughout the day. All the money that's raised there goes to for the city cemeteries. It's money raised to upkeep the local cemeteries. Now, here's the cool thing about this. July 4th kind of kicks off the picnics, is what they call them, right? They actually call it the July 4th picnic, right? And that's just the whole community comes out and has a picnic. Well, the very next weekend, the town right next door has their picnic, and then the next weekend another town, and the next week. So in that county, for the next 5 weeks, the little towns have their picnics, and all of the picnics are the money is raised to maintain their cemeteries, because you got to pay someone to mow the grass and keep the lawns up, and make sure that the tombstones don't get overgrown, and the money raised at the picnics is there for the upkeep of the cemeteries. So you see them, they have auctions. Most of them have auctions where they just auction off stuff. And I've seen a pie go for $700.
Wow.
Yeah. But what happens is these people go there with the intent to donate money.
Sure. Yeah.
To it. And so they just have fun. There was one guy who died recently, but he had, I want to say, 30 years straight of ball caps that he got the first ball cap that had, and I think it was the St. Francis picnic with the year on it, right? And every year, no matter how much it was, $1,000, he got the first ball cap. Cool. But that was he was giving back to the community for he was going to give the money anyway, so why not have some fun with it and raise money? So I think for me, those are the kind of the reasons that I like those two holidays, is because I have the tendency to see my greater extended family. That's where I have cousins and my aunts and uncles and things like that. So I think for me, that's why I like them.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Nice. Really nice.
Thomas Formonte.
Oh my God.
Must have heard us talking about him. He says, "Hello, everyone. Good to see y'all. I'm back home. Wow, what a trip back in town. We'll be back on the stream next Sunday." So glad to hear it, Tommy. Glad to hear you're back home. Glad you had safe travels. We have missed you. We have talked about you, poked fun at you, but we have indeed missed you. Okay, guys. Well, we've kind of run out of time here. Anything else? We've had a nice chat about holidays here. Anything that anybody wants to add?
Yeah, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Very good. Yes. Halloween.
Okay.
Especially you, Pete.
Thank you. I look forward to going to some random stranger's house and going, oh, it's scary in here.
And beg for candy.
And then they'll say we haven't done anything. I said, oh, well, how charming.
I love that idea. It's random kids begging for candy.
Give me sweets. Give me sweets.
poppers.
Child.
Kasisi says, "Have a great night, everyone." Thank you, Kasisi. Enjoyed chatting with you. Tommy says, "It's time to get to work." Yes, it is.
Hey,
been
put me to work during the
vacating.
stream.
It was all good stuff. It was all good stuff, Tommy. But now you got to go back and listen to see what you missed, right? and Tommy, I resisted the urge to mention the Flottamati.
Flottimonti.
So, all right. So, Curtis, let me see here. There we go. Curtis, where can folks find you online?
Sure. You can find me on Facebook, and you can find me either through my martial arts or through the comic books. Through the comic books, it's Shadow Ghost Comic, one word. That's on Facebook and Instagram. And then for my martial arts school, it's Tiger Crane 805. That's on YouTube and Instagram, and Tiger Crane Kung Fu on Facebook. So that's where you can find me.
Excellent. Roberta, what about you? Where can folks find you online? And actually, I see that sweet poster on just over your shoulder.
Yeah,
there
just watch the scroll. Look for Roby Conroy under Facebook and Instagram, and you can find me there. And that's about it.
Excellent. Pete, what about you?
On the Google, by typing in Peter Clinton Art, you'll find me everywhere, just as that. So yeah, get in touch.
Nice. And you can find me on all the social medias as well. Look for Roland Man, or look for Man Roland. Where's my little caricature? You just look for my caricature. It looks just like me. So yeah, and don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe. And oh, hold on, I gotta get this ready here. And just remember to make mine Silverline. All right, good night, everyone.